Great, and the living room is so silent that I'm surprised to find Mom sitting on the couch. She's turned slightly away from me, body curled around half a mug of coffee. The steam dances and floats up to kiss her face, but she doesn't notice. I realize it's been a long time since I've seen Mom so still. She's always moving. Right now, I feel like I've captured a precious moment. I want to take it and hold it close to my heart. She's staring at the living room window, but there's nothing to see except the vague outlines of trees and a few houses in the distance. I step toward her, and the floorboard yelps. She flinches. Hot coffee sloshes in her mug, threatening to spill over. Lily, you scared me. You're so quiet, always sneaking up on me. Oh, I say, it's not like I meant to sneak up on her. Sorry. She just smiles. How are you? How did you sleep? That's too complicated to answer, so I nod in response. And I guess a nod is good enough for Mom, because she doesn't push it. She plunks her mug on the coffee table as she stands. When she does, I notice she's dressed nicely in a button-down shirt and work pants. Are you hungry? She asks. No, I say. What are you wearing? I've got a job interview this morning, she explains as she clatters around the kitchen. We've only been here for one night. Most moms want to settle in and pack, but of course my mom's already got an interview lined up. She works at an accountant back in California, and she worked a lot, but I have time to make you something, Mom continues. You really should eat. How about leftover rice cakes? No thanks, I say. I was actually wondering about you. Sure, she asked. They could heat it up. Did I ever tell you that Hamani used to sell rice cakes when we first moved here? Everybody loved them. I stepped forward. Really? Mom rarely talks about when she was a kid. What about tea? Would you like some tea? I can get you some. Mom opens the cabinet and stops, hand hovering in the air. Right. Hamani loved the mugs on the other side. It was different before. She grabs a mug and from its new home and starts making a cup of tea, even though I don't really want one. I don't like her tea. Mom, I say, hesitating, but trying to sound as casual as possible. Did Hamani ever tell you the stories when you were little? Stories that seemed impossible? Mom frowns. Oh, I don't know, maybe. But I was never a big reader like you. I like to get outside and play. So I didn't really have the patience for stories. Oh, I get a feeling that's happened sometimes, like something's wrong with me, but I push it aside. But did you tell her stories about her childhood and stuff? Mom's eyes get far away, like she was staring out the window. She never talks about her time in Korea that much. I know she grew up poor in a rural village miles away from Seoul. I know she lived alone with her own Hamani. I know her mom moved to the States when she was very little. Hamani tried to find her when she moved out here herself, when I was just a baby, but I don't think she ever did. I meant more like, except, how do I explain this? Did you ever find stars hidden in jars? Did tigers ever chase you? Never mind. Mom takes a breath and has a smile on her face. Anyway, she meets some kids in the neighborhood. I have some high school friends with kids your age. I can set up a play date. Mom does this when she wants to change the subject, just abruptly switches topics, and acts like we were talking about it the whole time. I don't bother explaining that play dates expired about 6 years ago, and I don't explain how hard it is to make friends. Some people, friends just stick to them, like Sam. Even though she's mean sometimes, she always has a cloud of people around her. She has infinite texts to respond to, but I've never been a sticky person. I had a few friends and a group of girls I hung out for a while. Sam said they're always QAGs, quiet Asian girls like me, and eventually they just floated away. They were never mean or anything, but just forgot to invite me to things, like they forgot I existed. They didn't stick, and I guess that's okay. That's just my invisibility. I'm heading to my interview now, Mom says. But you should get out of the house, get some fresh air, maybe go to the library. You might meet some reader kids there, and you love libraries. I like libraries, I guess, but I don't know where she got the idea I love them, especially when I used to hate the one across the street. When I was little, I refused to enter it. I'd sit on the steps where Mom and Sam went, and I'd wait for them to bring me picture books. Mom didn't understand why I was so afraid, because the library books looks like a cute cottage placed right in front of the forest. The door and window frames were painted in bright, colorful patterns, but I told her it looked like the gingerbread house from Hansel and Gretel. I guess she's forgotten about that. A flash of annoyance flares up in me, but I shove it down. Yeah, okay. Mom looks relieved. That's great, Lily. You're the best. Have I told you you're the best? She sets the tea in front of me and ruffles my hair. Have fun at the library, okay? She leaves, slamming the front door behind her, and I sip the tea I don't really want. It burns my tongue and tastes like earth, but sends fire down my throat and wakes me up. And I'm angry, because sometimes it's like she has a whole other Lily in her head, an almost me that doesn't match the real me. I don't like tea. I don't love libraries. And what if I'm not the best? How would she know? It's not like she's paying attention. I get up to pour the tea down the sink, and the swirl of brown water thrills me. It feels reckless and wasteful, but in a good way. Drop the mug in after it, only with too much force. The mug cracks. For a moment, I stare at the crack, for something opens inside me, something big and gaping, a black hole that's too scary to look into. As quickly as it comes, my anger leaks away. I don't know what got into me. I take the mug and bury it in the trash, all the way at the bottom of the bin, where nobody will find it. Then I change into jeans and a striped t-shirt, and I braid my hair without bothering to brush it. I pull on my raincoat and head across the street to the library. I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm not afraid of Hansel and Gretel. I'm not afraid of fairy tales. And I don't think I'll find any reader kids there, but maybe I'll do some research. If a tiger is hunting my grandmother, I'll find a way to protect us. Chapter 10. The steps leading up to the library are lined with cracks. The windows are tinted, and the roof says just a little like it's tired. It's hard to imagine this is the same gingerbread library I was afraid as a kid. All the magic has faded. When I reach the doors, I tug once, then again. And just when I'm wondering whether it's locked, the bill and finally lets me in. Inside, it smells like mildew, but it's warm. An older man sitting at the front desk looks up from an ancient computer. Thin wire-framed glasses perched on his nose, and a thick white mustache twitches between his pink cheeks. If he weren't frowning so hard, he might look like Santa Claus. Might I help you? He asks, in a way that he doesn't really want to help me. He crosses his arms across his chest, wrinkling his cable-knit sweater. So no evil witch, but a grumpy Santa is close. That's okay, I tell him, and just looking. He stares at me, and I'm not sure what to do. For a second, I wonder if I'm not allowed into the library. But that's ridiculous. It's a library. You have a card, he asks. I'm not sure what it means at first. Oh, right, library card. No. I step up to the desk, even though he kind of scares me. His brushy eyebrows knit together, and he seems to be waiting for something. I'm not sure what he needs. I'm Lily, I tell him. Lily Reeves. My grandma lives across the street. I just moved in with her. His eyebrow quirks up, and he nods once. And what might be approval? He's still frowning, but less so. Your child's granddaughter, he confirms. I'll put your card under her account. Thank him as he types my information on his clacky keyboard. Good woman, he says after a few moments. Shocked for the town and system when she moves here. That's for sure. But I owe her. And Joan, your mother, followed her everywhere. Oh, I say. I'm not sure why he owes her. I'm also not not sure about Marvel and Harmony everywhere. I try to picture that, but I can't do it. They're just too different. Scan the red library card and hand it to me. Goodbye, then. Oh, I repeat, taking the card and slipping it into my pocket. I'm wondering if you have any books about tigers. He frowns, moving to the computer. Is this a summer project or personal interest? Personal. My mouth says like a question. He grunts. Not very often the kids these days use the library. They think they can find everything on the web. Yeah, I say, because I'm not sure how else to respond. I'm guessing most kids these days don't have magical tiger that's hunting their grandma, because I don't think Googling magical evil tiger will get very good results. Somebody groans behind me, and I turn to see a girl about Sam's age, medium brown skin, freckles, and curly hair, pushing an empty library cart. Joe, are you really kids these days? This poor girl. I'm not wrong, the librarian, Joe, says. The girl shakes her head at Joe and sticks her hand out to me. Hello, welcome to Sunbeam's world-famous library. I'm Jensen. When I shake her hand, her grip is strong and warm. The splatter of freckles across her cheekbones seems to dance as she smiles. How many always say that the freckles are lucky? This is Jensen. Joe hasn't necessarily. She's my employee. Jensen laughs. That's an equal introduction now that you know all there is to know about me. What's your name? Lily, I tell her. She smiles. Well, Lily, nice to meet you. Have you been here before? I shake my head and her smile grows even wider. Cool. Honestly, most people in this town probably haven't. We're looking for ways to drum up some life in the place. Remind people we're here and such, but, well, who knows? She shrugs, then leans over to Joe's desk to read his computer screen. Tigers, cool, come with me. I can give you a tour and show you the wildlife section. Joe returns to his computer, and I follow Jensen through stacks of books. Spoiler alert, the library is pretty sparse, so the tour won't last very long. She laughs. This girl is quick to smile and quicker to laugh. And as we weave through the aisles, I'm reminded of Harmony's basement. Before she moved all the boxes and cabinets upstairs, they used to form a maze of memories. I breathe in. Jensen turned to me. Are you new in town? I tell her I moved in with Harmony, and she grins. I know your grandma. Everyone loves her. Really? She tilts her head, looking a bit confused. Yeah, of course, she's like super nice and interesting. She always wears the black clothes. I feel a rush of pride because of course everyone loves Harmony. They should love Harmony. But at the same time, weirdly, my chest tightens. I don't know anything about Harmony's life in Sunbeam. Aside from my early years here, I've only known her in California. In California, she was just for us. She was ours. The jealousy that bubbles up startles me. Just like my anger at Mom this morning. I don't like it. These are feelings I shouldn't be feeling. I refocus on Jensen, who keeps talking. I tutor for middle school language arts. If you're looking for help, let me know. My voice scratches when I speak, like it always does when I talk to strangers. Yeah, okay, thank you. Tour ends with a small room in the back of the library. Inside, I see a mini refrigerator, cupboard, 2 chairs, and back door of the library. On the wall by the door is a faded poster of a cat hanging from a tree. The words "hanging there" written in white bubble letters. I don't know who put that up, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't Joe. This is the staff room, Jensen explains, but I always tell my tutees they can come back here. This room is chock full of sweets, and everyone could use some sugar. She pulls a chocolate cupcake out of the refrigerators and hands it to me. Flash, fast. My childhood fears blaze up. Hansel and Gretel were lured in by sweets. But I shake away my panic and thank her as I accept the cupcake. Jensen leans in and lowers her voice. I'll let you in a secret. Joe made it. I raise my eyebrows and she laughs. I know, right? She says. He doesn't seem the baking type, but don't judge him too harshly. He's not as bad once you get to know him. I always say that Joe is like a mirror for this whole town. Kind of a bummer on the outside, but really wonderful when you dig a little deeper. I get the sense that Jensen is what Mom calls an unrelenting optimist, but her happiness is infectious. I smile and take a bite, and the chocolate lights up my whole body. It's really good, I tell her. For some reason, the cupcake reminds me of Honey's rice cakes, even though they don't taste similar at all. He could sell these. She gives me an odd look, and I'm instantly embarrassed. I don't know why I said that. Harmony may have sold her rice cakes, but she did because she needed money when she moved here. Jensen grins. That's a brilliant idea, Lily. Oh, okay, I say. Can't tell if she really means it or if she's just being nice. Anyway, she continues, feel free to sneak some whenever you visit. I hope you do visit. It gets a little lonely around here. I like Jensen. She's nicer than I thought teenagers could be. She's basically the Auntie Sam. And I don't know what exactly she sees when she looks at me, but I know she sees me, which feels nice and also a little itchy. Jensen leads me into the wildlife section, and I flip through the tiger section. It's pretty dismal. 102 tiger facts and 102 more tiger facts. I scan them, looking for any information to help. Something like, there's certain breeds of tigers that can magically disappear, or if a tiger is hunting your grandma, here's how to stop it. But what I get is a tiger's tooth can cut through a bone. If you look a tiger in the eye, it might be less likely to kill you, but beware. The roar of the tiger has such low frequency that it can paralyze you. I push the books back into the shelf. This isn't what I need, and it's not making me feel great about being hunted by a tiger. Actually, I swallow nervous now. Do you have any stories about tigers? Jensen twirls a curl around her finger. Well, we have Narnia books, although I guess that's a lion. Do you have any stories in mind in particular? Maybe you can give me a better sense of your tastes. But obviously, I can't tell her about the magical tiger stolen the stars, but I can tell Harmony's original tiger story. I give the shortest summary as possible. There was one story about tigers, and he eats a grandma, and then he dresses up in the grandma's clothes and tries to eat her granddaughters, and then he chases them. And that sounds like Little Red Riding Hood, Jensen interrupts. No, that's a wolf, I say, and this is a story from Korea. She runs her finger along the book spine, ascending. I've never heard the Korean version. Isn't that interesting, though? There are different versions of certain fairy tales from all over the world, even places that don't overlap, and yet the stories are definitely the same. I want to explain that this story is completely different. That this story is about sisters and the sun and moon and a tiger. It's special. Jensen continues. It's kind of like these folk tales have a mind of their own. Like they're floating around the world waiting for somebody to come along and tell them. My insides go icy. I imagine that the story Harmony stole our lives, locked away somewhere, desperate to escape. Yeah, right, I whisper. I doubt we have a book of Korean folk tales in this library, though. She raises an eyebrow. To be honest, this town is pretty white, so you're not going to find much about other cultures. Like, sometimes I pick a waitressing shifts at the only Asian restaurant in town, Dragon Time. And I know it's a pretty cheesy name, and there's no time in Asian food. That's just the town we live in. She clears her throat. Anyway, I asked Joe to place an order for a book of Korean folk tales, depending on the budget. I stop listening because out of the corner of my eye, I catch a fleck of a tiger's tail, a flash of orange, black, disappearing the next aisle. My heart stumbles. The superpower of Invisible Girl is to hide. to disappear. To stay out of trouble, that's where I'm going. Run away, I tell myself. Hide. My legs ignore me. I'm already moving down the aisle as I stammer to Jensen. Actually, I think there might be a book over there. I chase the tiger, winding throughout the aisles, following glimpses of its tail, tossing him right into a blur of black and orange. Chapter 11. It's not a tiger, it's a boy. A short, white boy wearing a bright orange shirt, black jeans, and an old-fashioned newsboy hat over shaggy brown hair. Sorry, I blurt. I look over his shoulder. I could have sworn I saw a tiger's tail, but there's nothing. We're just standing in one of its aisles, surrounded by comic books. A boy laughs and tips his hat. Hello, I'm Ricky. I'm sorry he had to meet in the collision situation. Before I can respond, he shouts to Jensen, who runs up behind me. Hey, Jensen, you know I ran here from where my dad dropped me off in the parking lot because I know you hate when I'm late. He wipes pinpricks of his sweat off his upper lip for dramatic effect. So it was really concentrated on me, just saying. Jensen sighs. Ricky, please keep your voice down. Ricky grins, a corner of his eyes crinkle, and little dimples form on his round cheeks. I can tell he's one of those sticky people because I like him right away. He turns back to me. So, hello, who are you, and what is your story, and why are you here in the sad little library? I'm Lily, I say, and then my mind goes blank. He stares at me, waiting for more, and I wish my invisibility would kick in right about now. Jensen saves me. Lily just moved in with her grandmother in a house across the street from here. Gesturing to Ricky, Jensen adds, Lily, this is Ricky, one of my summer twos. We meet every Tuesday and Thursday. She turns directly to Ricky and says, and the library isn't sad. It's just a little rundown. Is she getting tutored with me? Rick asks Jensen, as if I'm not there. I get the same feeling I have with Mom and Sam sometimes, like I'm in the way, or I've walked into a conversation I don't belong in, or I guess ran into it. I dig my toe on the floor. No, I'm just looking for books. His eyes go wide, and he looks at the shelves of comics. Do you like comics too? I love them. I'm reading through the original Superman right now, with the issues that Joe has here, at least. I know a lot of people think Superman's not cool, and I'm not saying he's my favorite superhero. He's just canon, you know. Yeah, I pause, trying to think of something to continue the conversation. Anything I know about Superman, I draw a blank. Thankfully, Jensen chimes in. Lily likes tigers, so she's looking for books about them, Jensen tells him, which is kind of embarrassing. I want to correct her. I don't like tigers, but I shrug and force a smile. Ricky's grin returns. Whoa, I've never met a girl who likes tigers before. Well, yeah. If I were more like Sam, I would tell him that boys don't have dibs on liking tigers, but I don't say anything. I just wish we could go back to talking about comics. I mean, not that many girls talk to me, I guess. He continues, unaware of my any awkwardness. But tigers are cool. They're like sleek and elegant, but in a ruthless way. I don't exactly want to think about how ruthless tigers are. You can't trust a tiger, I say. Not slowly. You can't trust a tiger. He repeats like I've said something fascinating. He's trying to commit it to memory. I like that. My great-grandpa was a tiger hunter. But that's actually really bad because tigers are endangered and that's illegal now. So my dad doesn't want me to tell people about that. He pauses. Okay, that's enough for stalling for now, Jensen said. Let's get to work, Ricky. She drags him away, and they leave me standing in the aisle, head whirling. Maybe I imagined a tiger, but I don't think so. Tiger was here. I know it was here. What would have happened if Ricky hasn't interrupted? What would have happened if I'd caught it? A sleek, elegant, ruthless, magical tiger is hunting my family, and I chased it. I can't tell if that was incredibly brave or incredibly dangerous, or maybe a bit of both. Chapter 12. The next afternoon, Mom's at another interview, and Harmony naps for lunch, which is unusual because even though Harmony loves to sleep, she loves eating even more. Sam's upstairs on her computer, and I have nothing to do but snack on peanut butter cups, pace, and think about the tiger. Here's what I know. The tiger found Harmony, or at least the tiger found me, which means they'll find Harmony soon enough. The tigers are determined and wants the stories, and I'll do whatever it takes to get them back. The Kusa should have kept the tiger away, but I saw in the library, so that obviously didn't work. We need more protection, and even though talking about tigers upsets Harmony, I need to tell her. When I can't pace any longer, I slip into Harmony's room. The dust dances in the air, catching in the window light, and the misty light from outside makes the room hazy. Feels like I've stepped into a separate world, like a mini-universe trapped in time. I pull back the covers and gently shake my grandmother awake. Harmony, I whisper, Harmony, wake up. She mumbles and turns it over in bed. So I shake her again, a little harder, maybe a little too hard. She cracks her eyes open. Lily Bean, she murmurs, are you hungry? No, not really, I say. Honestly, I'm pretty full on peanut butter cups. She climbs out of bed, slowly and intently, like she's climbing out of quicksand. Sitting on the edge of the mattress, she stretches, and I can almost see the sleep sliding off her. She looks weak. Harmony, I blur, my tiger questions temporarily on hold. Is the bug gone? Are you sure you're okay? I'm better than okay. My family is here. That is all I ever want. She smiles, but her words wobble. You stop worrying. Speaking of worrying, I tug out one of my braids. I think we need more protection than just Kosa. I saw the tiger again. For a second, the fear ignites in Harmony's eyes. But then she closes them and shakes her head. When her eyes open again, she's soft and smiling. She opens her nightstand drawer and pulls out a sheaf of dried herbs. She breaks off a piece and places it in my palm. This for you. This makes you safe, okay? So you don't worry anymore. I stare at the shriveled plant and looks up at her. What is it? This mugwort, she explains. This is my medicine to eat, but you don't eat. You keep in your pockets, and it gives you protection. I thank her and slip the dried herb into my pocket, and this, she hesitates before reaching behind her neck and unlatching the necklace. Silver chain with this pearl pendant, her special necklace, the one she wears every day, the one she rubs between her fingers when she's trying to find the right English words. This helps too. You wear for protection, and it keeps you safe. My blues beats in every limb as she fastens it around my neck. It's heavier than it looks. But this is yours, I say. Yes, and now it is yours. I press my palm against the pendant. It's warmer than I expected. It's warm in my chest, and I like the way it feels, heavy above my heart. Did this really keep you safe? I'm here, yes? Pinch the pearl between my fingers, and it seems to buzz with energy. But what about you? Don't you still need protection? Tigers are hunting. She smiles, but it's not a regular Harmony smile. It doesn't match her eyes. I'll be safe, Lily. I'm not worrying. I'm not so sure, and when she sees that in my eyes, she says, okay, we go grocery now. We get even more protection, extra help against bad spirits. We buy pine nuts to burn and rice to scatter under a full moon. Also, I need fresh ingredient for a rice cake. I smile, feeling better. She leans closer, and I buy your favorite treats because I am best. She pauses. Well, your mother is best, but I am best. I laugh. You are? She raises an eyebrow. Now go tell Sam. After call Sam downstairs and tell her where we're going, she leans on the dining table, crossing her arms. That's not a good idea. Didn't Mom say you're not supposed to drive? Harmony's eyes start away, and I get the urge to pinch my sister. Sam is a black hole for happiness. You can drive if you want, I tell Sam. She recoils. I don't know. She could drive. She has her permit. And Harmony's a licensed driver. Mom keeps bugging Sam to practice, but of course she won't. Sam tried 2 lessons with her driving instructor and refused to get behind the wheel after that. Nothing bad happened, but she won't do it because of Dad's car accident. Harmony presses her palm against Sam's cheek. Life is not for waiting. We go now, we be okay. Sam tugs her right streak, but Mom said, Harmony tisks. Your mother doesn't know what she says. I'll be fine. Sam looks unsure, which is ridiculous because Sam never cares what Mom says. You can stay here, I tell her. There's a flash of hurt in her eyes. And then annoyance. No, I'll come, she says. Harmony claps. Good girl. I go change into fancy clothes. Sam frowns. Why? Grocery. Harmony answers before disappearing into her room. Sam shakes her head, but a tiny smile tugs at her lips. And I feel happy too. Harmony is Harmony. Weird is her normal, and I don't have to worry. With one hand, I pat the mugboard in my pocket. With the other, I grasp my pendant. Everything will be okay. I just know it. We arrive at the grocery store with a short list. For eating, mochi flour. For rice cakes, wasabi peas. For Mom, happy nut crackers. For Sam, peanut butter cups. For Lily. For extra protection, 5 grain rice to scatter in the woods. Pine nuts to burn under a full moon. For Misk, laundry detergent. Sam raises an eyebrow and she sees the protection category, but she doesn't say anything. We have to leave here in a half hour because rain coming soon, Harmony says. Sam frowns. It's not going to rain today. The weather app says there is a 0% chance. Harmony just pats Sam's head. Half hour. That's fine, I say. We won't take that long. I'm about to head off to check the grain aisle when a woman with bright and red curly hair runs right up to us. You must be the granddaughter, she squeals. I'm a little worried she's about to pinch her cheeks, but she refrains. How many beans? These my little ones. Your grandmother is the greatest. Oh, and gushes the same at me. She cured my asthma, her plants. Sam takes a very small step back. That's cool. The woman stays chat with Harmony for a while, and when she finally floats away, a bald man tells us Harmony made him laugh, even after his divorce. And then an older woman tells us that she plays cards with Harmony. There's a lot to take in, especially when I'm on a protection finding mission. Harmony introduces Sam and me to everybody she sees, and they all tell us how pretty we are, how sweet. I try to keep track of everyone, but their names slip through my mind. Their faces blur together. Harmony is so popular here. Everybody knows her. Everybody loves her. And I have no idea who these people are. After about 20 minutes, Sam pulls me into cereal aisle to hide. Harmony tricked us. She says, this is a quick grocery run. It's a whole event. She knows everyone. I say, yeah, which explains the nice clothes, I guess. Sam grins. Harmony has a lot of friends. I say, checking our list. I guess there's no harm in waiting for Harmony. Sam plops down on the floor. There are so many people we don't know, and they all have a story about her. It's like she has a secret life. I join her, sitting on the tiles and leaning against the store brand Frosted Flakes. I don't say anything, but she knows I agree. Our sister Tuffy hasn't disappeared completely. I picked at the stitching of my jeans. Speaking of stories, I wait for Sam to roll her eyes, but she doesn't, so I continue. Harmony told me this weird one I've never heard about tigers. Sam raised an eyebrow, a silent go on. I take a deep breath. You know how Harmony says that the stars were made of stories? Well, apparently that's true. And the tigers used to guard them. But Harmony stole some of the stars and hid them in jars or something. And now the tigers are mad. Sam frowns. That's a weird story, Lily. Harmony's crazy. She's not crazy. Don't say that. But anyway, she said, when did she tell you all this? The first night we were here, but her eyes fall to the pendant around my neck. And when did she give you that? Automatically, my hand flies to my chest, covering it, as if it's something to hide. Just now, before we left, she was talking about different kinds of protection. Sam unties and reties her shoelaces for no apparent reason. I don't know why she never talks to me about the stuff. I didn't realize that Sam wanted Harmony to tell her stuff. For a second, I considered telling Sam everything. About how I saw a tiger that should be impossible. How about I chased the tiger, even though I knew it was dangerous. And I still can't really explain why. But then I hear a familiar voice in the next aisle. Maybe we could make muffins or cupcakes or something. Like, we could use Mom's recipe, or the sticky blue buns he used to make. It's Ricky. When I rise to my feet and press my ear against the cereal boxes, Sam gives me a look that says, what is wrong with you? I don't have any answer to it, Dad. I know it's wrong to eavesdrop. For some reason, I can't stop myself. Maybe it's because Ricky's sticky. Or maybe it's because I'm nosy. Or maybe it's because Ricky was there when I saw the tiger. I tiptoed down the aisle until I reached the end. There is a big buy two, get one free display of Lucky Charms. 100 stacked cereal boxes. I use it as a spy shield. I peek out of the outside. Visible, I tell myself, calling on my superpower with all my might. Ricky walks down the aisle with a man I'm guessing it's his dad, because he looks a grown-up version of Ricky. Same messy brown hair, same big blue eyes. I wonder if Ricky's great-grandfather looked like that too, the tiger hunter. Sam frowns in confusion and follows me to the end of the aisle. Lily? She asks, but I shush her, and she joins me in spying. Who's that? She whispers. I shake my head so she'll be quiet. She nudges me in the ribs. Sam's incapable of being invisible. I met him at the library, I say, as quietly as I can. Sam makes a hum noise, a noise that she knows something I don't know, which is annoying, but I ignore her. I'm busy eavesdropping. Connor loves that recipe, Ricky says. He's looking up at his dad with kind of desperation. His dad's not paying attention. Did I tell you about the one time I made it? He ate like 4 whole servings. No, not 4, like 6 actually. They got really sick and he threw up everywhere. And Ricky, quiet. Ricky's dad massages his temples. I get this sinking, glued to the ground feeling. This is an awkward family moment. I should mind my own business. We probably shouldn't, Sam murmurs, but I keep watching. Ricky's dad pushes the cart, scanning the canned goods, and Ricky jogs along after him. But Dad, I'm pretty sure I told you this story. Do you remember? It was when we were at the laser tag place and Ricky, his dad snapped so loud that Sam and I both stepped back from the cereal. Ricky looks up at him, face open and hopeful, like he can't tell his dad is upset with him. And I shot him right in the chest with the lasers only, so it's not like he could actually feel it. And then, will you just shut up? The words echo through me. I felt the horribleness of them in my chest, squeezing hard. Sam tugs on my shirt sleeve. Come on, she whispers. I look over her shoulders to see Harmony standing at the end of the aisle, basketball, waving us over. She points at her watch and marching and then rain. The grocery store has mostly cleared out by now, and she's worried about the weather. Gotcha. How many mouths? Let's go. But I can't leave now. Staying feels wrong, but leaving feels even worse. I inch closer, pressing myself against the Lucky Charms. I watched Ricky stop walking, lips frozen mid-smile, but eyes wide with hurt. Slowly his smile fades and he stares down at his shoes. I lean forward. I don't know this kid, but I know what he's feeling. I want to reach out and say, I see you. I want to. Only there's no more time for wanting, because suddenly I'm falling forward. The cardboard display falls over, and then I'm on top of it, sprawled out on the floor in front of Ricky and his dad, and the rest of the grocery store, surrounded by cereal boxes. Oh man, Sam is backing away from me, as if embarrassment is contagious. Down the aisle, Harmony hurries toward me, but her hurrying isn't very fast, and I'm just lying there on the floor. I look up at Ricky and his dad, who look down at me, staring in surprise. Ricky blinks. I know you. I say, I try to manage a shrug that says something like, oh, hi. Real coincidence running into you here. But it's probably more like, I was spying and heard your dad say shut up, and now I'm lying on a mountain of cereal. Are you okay? Ricky's dad asked, looking both startled and concerned. I nod. Yeah, totally fine. I was just trying to decide if I want a cereal, but I don't think I'm going to get it. Ricky's smile comes back, spreading slowly across his face. And it's just, what is she even doing? Smile. But still, Sam snorts, which is rude. I stand up and clear my throat. Bye. I'm very much ready to run away now, but Harmony's finally made it here, and she stops me. Harmony runs a hand over my hair, which is probably a mess, and beams at Ricky and his dad. Hello, boys. Ricky's dad clears his throat. Hello, each. Harmony smiles at Ricky's dad and points at the cereal. You help me fix that, please. He lurches forward and props the cardboard shelf up. It falls right back over. I guess completely crushing it ruined its ability to be a shelf. Sorry, I mumble. Oh, okay, Harmony says. We stack. So Harmony, Sam, Ricky, his dad, and I work together stacking the boxes. It's incredibly uncomfortable. I want to disappear because they don't know I was eavesdropping, but it's obvious, right? When we're done, Harmony puts her hand on Dad's shoulder. Thank you, she says. It is always good to help each other when we need it. She turns to Ricky. See, I have struggled here, and you, Dad, help me. Sometimes parents and grandparents need help too. Sam and I exchange a glance. Now is not the time for one of Harmony's life lessons. Turning back to his dad, Harmony said, and when Ricky have struggled, you helping. We always remember to help each other. You both good boys, and you have hard times. I know that. But when you have hard times, you come together, not apart, okay? Harmony glows with both fierceness and kindness. It's like she's lit up from the inside, like she has a burning stars inside her. And I realize she knows. She must. I'm not sure how she managed to overhear their conversation, but somehow she did. Ricky and his dad both nod, and their dad looked literally embarrassed. I think he knows he was wrong. Ricky looks over to me, and I shrug, as if I have no idea what Harmony's doing. But really, I get it. I want to tell Ricky I see you. But Harmony's talking to Ricky's dad. She's telling him, I see you, and I see the way you could be. Even though Harmony's fierceness has nothing to do with our tiger protection plan, can't think I was supposed to see this. This is part of her story. Chapter 13. Sam waits until we're in the car, driving back home, and she bursts out laughing. Can't believe you fell over like that. That was awesome. Thanks, I say with sarcasm I learned from her. She laughs some more. I shake my head. Now that's over, it doesn't seem quite so bad. And then Harmony, she continues, turned to Harmony, who hunched over and squinted at the road ahead. She was right. It did start raining, and because of my cereal disaster, we're caught in it. Feel a little bad because I know Harmony didn't want to drive in the rain, but it's okay. We're not too far from home. Can't believe you made those guys help and then lectured them like that, Sam says.